that guy looks like Tim Ferriss. And I tell my partner, Scott, I'm like, I think Tim Ferriss is in the Marriott getting breakfast. He goes, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I was like, yeah, that can't be right. Key number one is this: take your shot. Don't miss opportunities. When you see somebody that you admire, you see somebody that, you want to approach in life, do it. He was Joe Rogan before Joe Rogan, a very different style show, but long form, the first real long form podcast where you'd sit down and talk to somebody for 45, an hour, 2 hours, and just go really deep into a concept. And I loved that. And clearly the world has learned to love that because some of the biggest podcasts in the world are 2-3 hours long. Lesson number 5 is be gracious and kind. Basically, he had a super welcoming demeanor. I think it's easy for us to put on a mask. It's easy for me to get on here. I feel like just being normally who I am and how I talk, being that, through a lens virtually to people, as well as I'm doing an archery contest. There's a big archery contest here at the convention center. And I just thought, well, that's also the most Tim Ferriss answer ever. Learning how to optimize and do something completely out of the ordinary that most people don't do. People are pretty much the same most of the time, but I do think that a lot of times people would put on a face to try to represent themselves a little bit differently than who they are. People feel whether you're not being authentic and you're not being true to yourself.
The conversations on this podcast are intended to provide financial advisors with ideas, strategies, concepts, and tools that could be incorporated into their advisory practice.